Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the World Classic Championship Wrestling Review Series and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. We also will have AEW and NXT up this evening as well, because this is being recorded on Wednesday. But Buddy Roberts and Mark Youngblood start off the May 31st edition of World Class. This is good for Youngblood, as Roberts is a guy who can get so much out of so little. And Buddy Roberts is one of the guys who I never, until I watched the World Class anthology all the way through up to this point, 82 through the right now the summer of 86. I never appreciated him nearly as much as I should have. I didn't grow up with World Class, and so I always kind of had a partialness to Michael Hayes and to a lesser degree Terry Gordy. I enjoyed his Japan stuff, but months and months of watching, years and years actually, of watching Buddy Roberts just makes me really want to see him go a little further and just see what else they can do with him. Because he's a guy that can bring the best out of young talent, and I think that there's an art form in the business to being a guy who can take a young guy and bring him, or in the ladies division, or bring her to the next level. And Roberts has that in spades. I mean, they literally get like 4 or 5 minutes out of just stalling and making physical contact maybe twice in 4 or 5 minutes. And to me, the art of working is doing very little while getting a lot out of it from a crowd reaction standpoint and making you want to go, will you just get him already? That moment where they finally lock up is a crowd reaction. Al Snow says there's only one pop in a match, and that's the finish, and I agree with that. Or done right, there should be. There's a roller coaster of emotions, but the pop should be the finish. Anyway, so breakdown, and we see Roberts go across the arms and into arm bars and the like. He rolls out. Meanwhile, Youngblood chases Buddy around outside. Youngblood, of course, with the Native American style chops, and gets more the most he can out of things, and we see quite a bit of kind of breaking the match down. Robert uses the steel post as a weapon and wraps the leg of his adversary around that weapon, so that is there. We go into a continuation of a bit of a brawl and a big toss from the top rope by Youngblood, and ultimately some big double chops and other great things. A win by Youngblood after. Let's see. He ends up winning after a couple of chops and after that slam off the top. But a win by Youngblood is good for business here. We then move to I guess I'd say a clipped series of, or a little bit of a clip of Bruiser Brody and Rick Rude in a match joined in progress, I believe, from Reunion Arena or somewhere different. It's the place where the lighting is always kind of yucky. So, I really have become picky with lighting. Anyway, Rude does get a near fall off a top rope fist drop by Rude onto Brody. Brody still looks like he could take the America's now World Heavyweight Championship at any moment. I kind of wish they had done that, even if it was for a week or two. I think the Rude run, while it's been good, has been a little bit, I don't want to say underwhelming, but knowing where they go as far as finally ending Rude's run, because I'm a couple months ahead, it isn't where I would have gone. Brody does get busted open in this. Also hooks a vertical suplex for his trouble and takes him up, over, and through. And a big falling um, falling process there. They brawl around the what looks to be a rodeo arena. The referee obviously has to put a stop to that because of the continue, or should have put a stop to it, but the match continues anyway. They brawl around the arena, Brody having the advantage with the brawl. Blackjack Mulligan makes his debut in the area, and they lay Brody out. Percy Pringle having Blackjack Mulligan in his stable is just kind of cool. They use the ring steps to try and break the arm of Brody, and Mulligan takes over on Brody. I am very limited in my knowledge of Blackjack Mulligan. Again, I grew up with the WWF territory, and finally now watching episodically this type of thing. Lance Von Erich runs in to help Brody, but Blackjack Mulligan certainly a guy who is going to get. I don't know if I'd say even, but he's gonna level the playing field in whole different ways. We go back to the main arena, the Grappler and Lance Von Erich. Obviously, the Grappler is a former Texas champion. Lance Von Erich, a guy who thrust into the Von Erich name, finally kind of, I wouldn't say living up to the name, but certainly kind of is at least in his own in terms of being supported. We're only a couple of weeks away, or maybe a month or two at most, away from Kerry Von Erich's accident where he loses his motorcycle accident where he loses his foot. So Lance about to become, as we enter the summer, much more important a talent than is, I guess, average or typical. And what's amazing is watching ahead a little bit. They kind of do say that Kerry doesn't lose the foot, and this is said on camera, but facts prove different. Anyway, so the Grappler, does the leapfrog thing for a little bit. Grappler tries to break down Lance for quite a bit, tries to slow things down, get things going, and is there as a real basic match style. But the Grappler able to get more out of Von Erich than normal, kind of pulling a more story-based match out of him than is average. He has the ability, but he's got to be in there with the right guy, and the Grappler proves to be, at least for this, the right guy. Hard shot there, and an Irish whip leads through, and a clothesline by Von Erich. And again, I mean, they are trying to put him on par with Kevin and Kerry at this point. Von Erich does get a victory with a roll-up 1-2-3 and gets the victory. We move to Great Kabuki and Iceman King Parsons. I don't know that Michael Hayes is out here. It seems like the Hayes Alliance doesn't last too much into the summer. No, he's not at least in the ring with him, which usually he's in the ring if he's going to be there. Parsons comes back again. I don't know where Parsons goes for weeks at a time because he used to be a weekly character, and in such a small territory, weekly characters are a good thing. Kabuki has been here on and off since '82. So has Parsons, really. They've actually gone to battle before, so interesting that they come back to some basic feuds. But anyway, Kabuki with the martial arts chops, and obviously Parsons comes back with shots of his own in the same basic vein. We do kind of see the match break down into more of a, I don't know if I'd say a brawling style, but Kabuki tries to use chops and submission holds. We see Parsons with more of the brawling style too. So these guys actually do have an interesting chemistry together, and both guys have enough history where it doesn't matter what they do. The Disqualification loss for Kabuki is evident as Kabuki sends his adversary over the top rope to the floor. Then we move to our main event, Hollywood John Tatum against the returning Chris Adams. Of course, he returned a few weeks before at the Texas Stadium, but Missy Hyatt here. So Missy and Sunshine about to tangle again on the outside of the ring. We know this. Tatum comes out with a walking stick to make fun of the partial blindness of Chris Adams. Not a good idea. Adams still can wrestle quite well. A lot of stalling and the introduction potentially of a chair into the match by Tatum. Early stalling leads to the side headlock and then the chin lock. Breakdown of the match, and Tatum takes over for the midpoint part. Really basic match, nothing to go out of your way to really see. Not exactly what I would consider main event level or worthy. We do see a small half shot of the backside of John Tatum as Tatum tries to run away over the top rope. Adams tries to pull him back in by the tights, and well, we get a half moon anyway. Match breaks down slow again with Tatum, trying to run away as needed, when needed. Anyway, we see that going in a positive direction and brawl around the outside of the ring area, and then we kind of see a attempted suplex. Can't get what he wants out of that, but a hard shot by Missy, looks like with a weapon, although it's hard to see over the corner. Missy's interference leads to a victory for Tatum. Bit of a surprise for Tatum to get the victory here. Not sure if they're going to go somewhere further with him, but that's where we end up today. In any event, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.